hello, how are you? Hope y'all are having a great day. This video is about a poker run. Oop, not a poker run, a fun run. Well, actually there was no gambling in this. There were donations taken and there were poker hands handed out to individuals and it was all in fun. No big deal. So this was organized primarily by Connie and Mike, who do the Celeste Trades Days and the Celeste Cruise In. And it was a result of me and Connie talking a little bit about wanting to get some of our cruise-in groups together and start doing things together as larger groups. Now, this was a last-minute deal. That's why a lot of y'all probably never heard about this or, got a flyer at the last second, which doesn't help a whole lot. But anyway, it was really spur of the moment. But anyway, so I took care of the route. Connie and Mike organized the whole thing. They cooked us dinner. They had food and drinks provided. And Dawn and her husband, Dawn is the Commerce, Texas Cruise-In Group organizer. So we just came together, got this thing going, and had a few cars with us, experimented, and just got it done, and had a good time afterwards. So let me share with y'all what we learned and just exactly what happened on this. And again, sorry if anybody feels like they got left out or whatever. It was just a last-minute thing. It's an experiment, and just didn't really want to drag everybody into our learning process. So here we go. The premise of having the fun run as part of the cruise was just making the cruise a little bit more interesting and to let people know that these are the cities that are involved in all these cruise-ins for our Northeast Texas Car Events Club. So if you have an area, a region where you have car groups that you want to get together, this may be a way of beginning to get all the different groups to gel and work together and support each other. This fun run utilized 3 groups involved in the Northeast Texas Car Events group. This group is primarily made up of folks up here in the Northeast Texas area, and particularly myself as Road Odyssey, Celeste, and Commerce. The driving portion of this involved, actually it started in Greenville, came up to Commerce, went through Ladonia, Wolf City, Leonard, and Celeste. I think about 2 to 3 hours at the tops is a good amount of time for people to be out on the road in groups driving something like this. I tended to use Google Maps to first begin selecting driving routes that were about an hour, hour and a half long, and then I would drive these different routes and variations of the routes in order to really find something that was seriously not over an hour and a half long. I did all kinds of stuff to verify that the final route was solid and that there was no road construction, bad potholes, or anything else. Now, if you're going to do an event like this, I normally start about a month, if not 6 weeks ahead of time, and I put out advertisements not just on Facebook, but out on the internet. So for me, I use Motor Texas and Old Rides. Advertisement far in advance is so very important, and not only just posting it out on the internet and a little bit on Facebook, you really do need to keep after this. Once you get the initial couple of postings out there, at least on Facebook, you need to get out there and post it to different groups multiple times over. When you do a poker run, you cannot call it a poker run. Therefore, a lot of people call these fun runs. In our case, since we were learning this, we didn't necessarily ask for people to pay to have a hand, a poker hand. We just asked people to donate for the church. And then whatever money they donated, that was put into a baggie and delivered to the church.
Connie and Don had decided that for the poker hands, they would try to give people as many cards as they could. And I believe we ended up with 6. One at Greenville, Commerce, Ladonia, Wolf City, Leonard, and Celeste. And so they took the best 5 cards out of that overall hand, and the winner was the winner. No big deal. Just a little bit of fun. I really like the organization for how the actual poker hands were dealt out. What they had decided to do was Dawn would have multiple decks of cards, and she followed us in her Mustang. So every time we had a pit stop at each of the cities, she would allow us to pull a card for our poker hand, and that way it prevented us from having to have somebody, stationed at each city. No, no, no. Just let the person dealing the poker hand follow along and pit stop with us at each city and hand out a card. I really thought that was a great way of doing this, and it really prevented having a huge overhead of people at each city waiting for us to arrive. 2 other points to this event was there were a couple of stops where restrooms were readily available, and number 2, there were refreshments provided for us midway. So in this case, it was at Wolf City that a friend came up with his truck and had a couple of coolers for some drinks. And, that just kind of helped us have a nice little layover before finishing the second half. And these drinks did not go to waste. They were put in the back of another car and taken to the final end point for us to finish off. To make this a more interesting event and something that we could all have a little bit more relaxation with and bonding, Connie and Mike provided us with a fantastic dinner at the very end. So once we hit the last city, which was Celeste, we went over to where Connie and Mike provide the Celeste Trades Day, where they had cooked up barbecue, potato salad, beans, buttered bread, and drinks. And we just all communed and had a good time for those of us that wanted to stick around and do that. So this was a really nice way of getting us all together. You, on the other hand, maybe you would like to end your run not only where the poker hand or delivering toys to kids, whatever it might be for your theme, you still might want to end up with a place where everybody can just sit down, eat, and, chat for a while.
Yay! That'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe down below. I thank you for that as well. Y'all are all wonderful. So this was a learning experience for me, despite the fact that I've done lots of cruises, and there's just always something to learn. And this was a very interesting experiment, something that we've never done before. I've never done it before, so I learned a lot. And I appreciate every one of y'all who joined us. And again, I apologize to anybody who felt left out, or why didn't I contact them? You would have joined us. Having a huge number of cars for this was not overly desirable. You always want a lot of people. In this case, it was good that we had a smaller group. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. Learned a lot of stuff. Hope it helps y'all. So like I said, please subscribe and relax. Take it easy, and I will see you later. Bye.